For decades, one message has echoed through hospitals, clinics, and family conversations around the world: keep your blood pressure as low as possible. It became one of the most trusted health rules, especially for older adults. Every doctor's visit ended with a blood pressure reading, and every small improvement felt like a victory. Families proudly celebrated lower numbers, believing they were protecting their parents and grandparents from heart attacks, strokes, and other life-threatening conditions. It seemed simple. Lower numbers meant better health. Or did they? As medical science continued to evolve, researchers began asking a surprising question. Could the story be more complicated than anyone realized? Could there be situations where focusing only on lowering blood pressure might overlook something equally important? This is where Dr. William Li introduced a perspective that caught the attention of millions. Instead of telling people to ignore blood pressure, he encouraged them to understand it more deeply. According to Dr. Li, blood pressure isn't just a number printed on a medical chart. It is the force that pushes oxygen and nutrients through every blood vessel in the body, delivering life to the brain, heart, kidneys, muscles, and every other organ. Imagine trying to water a large garden. If the water pressure is too high, it can damage delicate plants and pipes. But if the pressure becomes too low, the water may never reach the flowers at the far end of the garden. The plants begin to wilt, not because there is no water, but because there isn't enough pressure to deliver it where it's needed. Dr. Li explains that our bodies work in a surprisingly similar way. As we grow older, our blood vessels naturally change. They may become less flexible than they were in our younger years. The heart may also work differently, and the body's ability to quickly adjust blood flow can slow down. Because of these normal aging changes, older adults sometimes need a different approach than younger people. A blood pressure target that feels perfectly safe for someone in their 30s may not always produce the same results for someone in their 70s or 80s. This idea surprised many people because they had spent years believing that one perfect blood pressure number existed for everyone. But medicine is rarely that simple. Every person has a unique medical history, different medications, different lifestyles, and different health conditions. A single number cannot always tell the whole story. Many older adults have experienced moments of standing up too quickly and suddenly feeling lightheaded or dizzy. Others may notice weakness, blurred vision, or a loss of balance. While these symptoms can have many causes, blood pressure sometimes plays an important role. If blood pressure drops too much in certain individuals, the brain may briefly receive less blood than it needs, leading to these uncomfortable symptoms. This doesn't mean high blood pressure is safe. In fact, uncontrolled high blood pressure remains one of the leading causes of stroke, heart disease, kidney failure, and other serious health problems. The danger comes from assuming that lowering blood pressure is always better, regardless of the person's age or overall health. Dr. Li encourages people to think beyond a single reading and focus on how the entire body is functioning. Another important point is that blood pressure naturally changes throughout the day. It can rise during exercise, emotional stress, excitement, or even after drinking coffee. It often falls during sleep and periods of relaxation. A single measurement taken at one moment doesn't always represent a person's overall cardiovascular health. That's why many healthcare professionals recommend taking multiple readings over time instead of relying on just one result. The growing conversation around blood pressure in older adults isn't about creating fear. It's about replacing oversimplified beliefs with a more complete understanding. Modern medicine increasingly recognizes that personalized care often produces the best outcomes. Rather than treating every older adult exactly the same, healthcare providers now consider age, physical condition, existing illnesses, medications, symptoms, and overall quality of life before deciding on treatment goals. The real truth may not be that everything we've believed is wrong. Instead, it's that the picture is far more detailed than most people ever realized. Blood pressure remains one of the most important health measurements, but the goal isn't simply to chase the lowest possible number. The goal is to help every organ receive the blood it needs while reducing the long-term risk of disease. That balanced approach is changing the conversation about healthy aging and helping millions of older adults understand that their health deserves personalized care rather than one-size-fits-all advice. As more research emerged, one message became increasingly clear. Treating blood pressure in older adults is not simply about lowering numbers. It is about protecting the entire person. Dr. William Lee explains that every patient has a different body, different health conditions, and different needs. What works well for one individual may not be the safest or most effective approach for another. For many years, doctors relied heavily on standard blood pressure targets because they were based on large studies showing that uncontrolled high blood pressure significantly increases the risk of heart attacks, strokes, kidney disease, and heart failure. Those findings remain true today. High blood pressure is often called the silent killer because it can damage the body for years without causing obvious symptoms. However, Dr. Lee points out that there is another side to the story. In some older adults, especially those with multiple medical conditions or those taking several medications, lowering blood pressure too aggressively can sometimes create new problems. Instead of feeling healthier, they may begin experiencing dizziness, fatigue, blurred vision, confusion, or frequent falls. Imagine an older person getting out of bed in the morning. As they stand, gravity naturally pulls blood toward their legs. A healthy body quickly adjusts by tightening blood vessels and increasing blood flow to the brain. But with aging, or because of certain medications, that adjustment may happen more slowly. If blood pressure is already very low, the brain may briefly receive less oxygen-rich blood, causing lightheadedness or even fainting. Falls are one of the greatest health risks for older adults. A simple fall can result in broken bones, head injuries, lengthy hospital stays, and a loss of independence. This is one reason many healthcare professionals now carefully balance the benefits of lowering blood pressure against the possible risks of making it too low for certain individuals. Dr. Lee encourages patients to pay attention not only to the numbers on the blood pressure monitor, but also to how they actually feel. A person who consistently feels weak, dizzy, or unusually tired should discuss these symptoms with their healthcare provider rather than assuming they are simply a normal part of aging. Another important factor is medication. Many older adults take prescriptions for blood pressure, diabetes, cholesterol, arthritis, or other chronic conditions. Sometimes these medicines can interact with one another or affect blood pressure in unexpected ways. That is why regular medication reviews with a doctor or pharmacist are so important. Small adjustments can sometimes improve symptoms while still keeping blood pressure within a healthy range. Lifestyle also plays a major role. Dr. Lee often emphasizes that healthy habits support the body's natural ability to regulate blood pressure. A balanced diet rich in vegetables, fruits, whole grains, healthy fats, and lean proteins helps nourish blood vessels and the heart. Staying physically active with appropriate exercise improves circulation, strengthens the cardiovascular system, and supports overall health. Good sleep, stress management, maintaining a healthy weight, avoiding smoking, and limiting excessive alcohol consumption are equally important. These habits work together to reduce strain on the heart without relying entirely on medication. One mistake many people make is checking their blood pressure only when they visit a doctor's office. Stress or anxiety during medical appointments can temporarily raise readings, a phenomenon often called white coat hypertension. Home monitoring, when done correctly and consistently, can provide a more complete picture of blood pressure throughout daily life. Keeping a record of these readings can help healthcare providers make better treatment decisions. Dr. Lee also reminds people that health is about much more than one number. Doctors consider kidney function, heart health, cognitive function, mobility, nutrition, and overall quality of life when deciding on blood pressure goals. Two people of the same age may receive different recommendations because their health situations are completely different. The biggest lesson is that personalized care is becoming the future of medicine. Instead of asking, "What blood pressure should everyone have?" healthcare providers increasingly ask, "What blood pressure is safest and healthiest for this specific person?" That shift represents a major change in how older adults are cared for. The goal has never changed: to prevent heart disease, strokes, and other serious complications. What has changed is the understanding that successful treatment requires balancing benefits and risks. Dr. William Lee's message encourages older adults and their families to work closely with qualified healthcare professionals, monitor their health regularly, and remember that the best treatment plan is Wanda. After hearing this new perspective, many older adults ask the same question. If there isn't one perfect blood pressure number for everyone, what should I do? Dr. William Lee's answer is both reassuring and practical. He emphasizes that the goal is not to ignore blood pressure or stop treatment. Instead, the goal is to manage it wisely, using a personalized approach that supports long-term health and overall well-being. One of the most important lessons is never to change or stop blood pressure medication without speaking to a qualified healthcare professional. Stories and videos on the internet can provide useful information, but they cannot replace a doctor's understanding of your medical history, current medications, and individual health needs. What works safely for one person may be dangerous for someone else. Dr. Lee encourages older adults to become active participants in their own healthcare. This starts with regularly monitoring blood pressure at home using a reliable monitor. Measurements should be taken at the same time each day after resting quietly for several minutes and recorded in a notebook or digital app. Looking at trends over weeks or months is often far more valuable than worrying about one unusually high or low reading. Lifestyle choices also have an enormous impact on blood pressure and overall health. Dr. Lee frequently highlights the importance of food as medicine. A diet rich in colorful vegetables, fruits, beans, whole grains, nuts, seeds, healthy fats, and lean proteins provides nutrients that help support healthy blood vessels and reduce inflammation. Limiting excessive salt, processed foods, sugary drinks, and unhealthy fats can also contribute to better cardiovascular health. Physical activity is another powerful tool. Older adults do not need to run marathons or spend hours in the gym. Even simple activities such as walking, gentle cycling, swimming, gardening, or stretching can improve circulation, strengthen the heart, and help maintain healthy blood pressure. The key is consistency. Small amounts of regular movement often provide greater long-term benefits than occasional intense exercise. Stress is another factor that should never be ignored. Emotional stress causes the body to release hormones that temporarily raise blood pressure. While occasional stress is a normal part of life, chronic stress may contribute to long-term cardiovascular problems. Relaxation techniques such as deep breathing, meditation, prayer, spending time with loved ones, or enjoying hobbies can support both mental and physical health. Sleep also deserves attention. Poor sleep quality has been linked to higher blood pressure, increased inflammation, and a greater risk of heart disease. Establishing a consistent bedtime routine, reducing screen time before bed, and creating a comfortable sleep environment can improve overall health in ways many people underestimate. Regular medical checkups remain essential. Blood pressure is only one part of the larger picture. Doctors may also monitor cholesterol, blood sugar, kidney function, heart rhythm, weight, and other important health markers. These pieces of information work together to provide a more complete understanding of a person's cardiovascular health. Perhaps the most valuable message from Dr. Lee is that healthy aging is not about chasing perfection. Many people become anxious whenever they see a blood pressure reading that is slightly above or below their usual number. But the human body is dynamic. Blood pressure naturally changes throughout the day depending on activity, emotions, meals, hydration, and even the weather. Occasional fluctuations are completely normal. Instead of focusing on a single number, Dr. Lee encourages people to focus on building healthy habits that protect the body over many years. Eating nutritious foods, staying active, managing stress, sleeping well, avoiding smoking, limiting alcohol, taking medications as prescribed, and maintaining regular communication with healthcare providers create a strong foundation for healthy aging. The real truth about blood pressure in older adults is not that decades of medical advice were wrong. It is that modern medicine continues to learn and improve. Researchers now understand that personalized care often leads to better outcomes than a one-size-fits-all approach. Every person's body tells a different story, and successful treatment means listening to that story carefully. As science advances, one message remains constant: knowledge is empowering. By understanding how blood pressure changes with age and working closely with healthcare professionals, older adults can make informed decisions that support both longevity and quality of life. Dr. William Lee's perspective reminds us that true health is measured not only by numbers on a monitor, but by the ability to stay active, independent, energetic, and fully engaged in the moments that matter most.